Yo, this is DPS podcast episode number 20, episode number dub. And somehow, some way, me and Forte have not killed each other in 20 episodes so far. So we're going to keep it rolling. Hope you guys having a great night. We plan on having an awesome show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to get into. Want to shout out to some people in the chat right now. Let's shout out to Doc Sire, who was here. I mean, early, like before Forte. I mean, I think everybody was here before Forte, but still, Missy dies a lot. What's up, bro? Storm Rider Project, Dr. Sarakis. We got Replicant in the house. What's up, bro? We got King Thrash. Do what you do. Got King Thrash in the house. We got Emperor Rafe and Ryan Landis. What's good, y'all? Hope y'all having a great evening. I know I'm a little bit upbeat, but I did want to acknowledge something that some late breaking news that happened. That's a little what's up, T-Rock? That's a little disheartening. Did want to say rest in peace and much respect to a legendary actress, Cicely Tyson. She died. The announcement that she died today happened a few minutes ago. Yeah. If you don't know who she is, I guess you can say watch movies. Because she's had I guarantee you have seen her in something. Guarantee it. She's been in everything, and she's been acting for a really, really long time. And just rest in peace to her. And prayers to her entire family that's dealing with that loss. But all that out of the way, let's see what my co-host over here, Gaming Forte, is doing, man. How you doing, man?
Man, it's been a crazy week. A lot of orbiting the Earth at a high orbit right now. Looking down, seeing all the clouds and stuff. Like, man, this is what it looks like up here. Man, I've just been looking at stocks for the last 2-3 days, so it's like kind of surreal, kind of crazy. But outside of that, man, it's just been working. We actually pick up the keys to the house tomorrow because the people moved out. So we get our keys tomorrow for the house. So super excited for that.
So are you moving? I always ask this question to people who move into a home. And again, I know I said it before, but again, congratulations, man, on owning a home. It's a wonderful thing. It's great to have. It's also a lot of work that you don't even realize how much work is going to be until you get in there and you just realize the upkeep is it's like another full-time job. But are you moving yourself in, or are you hiring movers to help you move in?
I'm too old for that.
Right.
I'm paying. I already. It's all the date has already been set. They said, how many movers we're doing three guys in the truck or whatever the hell is 2 men in the truck. We're doing that. And they was like, how many men you need? 2 or 3? I said, well, what's the difference in price? They was like 2 guys, $275 for 2 hours, 3 guys, $375 for 2 hours, an hour for what was it? For every extra hour, it's $125. I said, well, shoot, we're only moving 7 minutes up the street pretty much. So this should all be done in freaking 45 minutes to an hour. So we shouldn't even use the whole 2 hours.
You gotta be organized. Like,
we already are, bro. You should
have everything, like have stuff stacked up in the way they should be stacked in the moving van.
Yep.
So that when you get there, it's like everything's real organized, getting everything in, getting everything out, get back to the apartment, move the rest of your stuff. I moved pretty much across DC when I bought my house. So I did actually have my friends help me move, which is awesome that my friends are that cool. But then at the same time, they're not professional movers. So some damages were made getting my stuff in the house.
Was it as bad as Kids Moves?
Oh no, it wasn't that bad. No, nowhere near that bad. Just some drywall kind of stuff, stuff that I can I fix.
Drywall.
Yeah, look, man,
what the heck were they doing? They were playing fisticuffs with each other in the room?
No, one of the dressers, my friend was with another friend of mine trying to get the dresser up the stairs, and he kind of, the dude don't lift weights, okay? So, like, there's that. And he kind of tilted it a little bit, couldn't catch his grip, and the edge of the dresser hit the wall, and so we kind of bent
Wait,
in.
did
The
you say your
drywall.
friends?
Yeah, I have my friends.
So you ain't pay. You have friends
No,
help you.
man.
Oh,
Look,
screw that, dude.
I helped them move.
Mm-mm.
You know, you're gonna reciprocate some of that charity.
No, because
Okay?
that means you got to help.
Yeah, I had help.
No. I'm just saying that means if you're going to have your friends help you move, that means you have to help with the move. I'm not trying to pick up nothing.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. I definitely And see, if I ever decide to move again, that's going to be what I do, what you did, because I'm too old to be out here.
Stuff, man.
It's too much stuff, man. My back ain't it's a 40-year-old back now.
40-year-old back with 60-year-old knees, 20-year-old ankles.
Hey. We ain't gonna do all the knee and ankle slander out here, man. But let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, no, first, I got some questions for you, sir. Okay?
Oh, come on, man. Then we gonna do this on two different podcasts already.
We're gonna do this real quick.
All right, go ahead, man.
Forte. So my question for you is, where have you been for the past 3 years?
Oh, somewhere stuck in the Twilight Zone, most likely, it seems.
Because you did a video on Monday where you talked about how you were talking about some things that were absolutely true. It's just that the way you talked about it, it was as if like this big epiphany hit you, and this was like something that no one had ever knew before. Xbox doesn't have any first party games right now, and it's just like, we've been knew that, Forte. Like we been knew there was nothing really compelling, and we been knew they haven't dropped any good first party since Gears 5, and like that was a year and a half ago. And why are you just realizing this? And I'm looking at this video, and I'm just like, what is this? Is this what drugs do to people?
This is what Destiny does to people.
Yeah, a drug.
Don't call it drugs. Just say Destiny. Call it out by his name.
No, it's a drug. It's a drug because you and the crackheads that play Destiny like you act like drug addicts. Y'all can't play nothing else. You can't do anything else. The way that game is designed, it's a second job.
It is. I'm the first one to tell you that.
And I just don't understand how with all of the great games that get dropped out here all the time, whether it be a first party game, second party, third party, whoever. There's so much that gets released that it's everyone has a backlog because it's so difficult to keep up with things. And I don't understand how you can see all these great games being released and you just like, nah, I'm gonna keep doing the same strikes over and over again. And it's just now you realize, oh, what have I been doing with my life? What have I been doing with my gaming life? Oh, and now you go, hey, I wonder if Xbox got some games for me to play. Oh, they ain't dropped really anything compelling since the last time I came out of this fog. Like, bruh,
pretty much.
We've been over this, man.
Is this like a slash intervention of Destiny plus what the hell were you thinking for the last 3 years?
Pretty much. I mean, I've been trying to tell you this for the longest time. You
already knew I knew this though. It's just that I wasn't acknowledging it like I acknowledged it in that video.
So you're saying that you were being delusional?
I gotta be careful here.
I'm just saying. I mean, you said you weren't acknowledging it. I mean that's like kind of like textbook.
No, delusion. Well, let's put it like this. It's no secret that I always said that you shouldn't buy a system until they give you a reason to buy it. And to my credit, I've always said the only reason I'm buying the Xbox is because of friends and the fact that Destiny is the preferred platform that I like to play on, and that happens to be where my friends are. So it's always been that game because Microsoft hasn't given me any first party, party of substance that makes me want to play it over there. Like I always told people, God of War was the only game I truly really put Destiny down for. Hellblade was another one I did because I did do Hellblade when it came to Xbox. I did put down Destiny for a while for that, but the biggest thing is, for me, it really didn't manifest itself like where it affected me until Destiny became a complete shit show. Like, I was like, what's really going on with this game right now? And the thing is, I'm still not going to stop playing it because I enjoy it, but it was just at a certain point where I was like, I just want to play something else. I just want to get out of this funk and play something else. And then when I started, and then the whole Xbox thing happened with the Xbox Live, and I just felt like that was like the complete. It was like for me, somehow it all
occurred right after our last show, right?
It literally happened right after our last show.
So we haven't had really a chance on DPS.
No, we never really talked about it.
We can get into that once we get into
it. Happened literally the day after.
Yeah, we can get into that when we get into the whole Xbox hardware, software topic. But go ahead, man.
No, but for me, I think that was what triggered it for me because I wasn't enjoying Destiny.
Oh, so what you're saying is that Microsoft's tomfoolery it woke you out of this deep sleep that you've been in, this trance that you've been in,
because they finally did something to me that affected me. Like that affected me.
Technically, it didn't affect.
No, it did because I'm literally paying for one of my kids' Xbox Live. I'm paying for that.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Because my brother, I game
actually
share
no,
with
that
him.
Still wouldn't affect you because the people who already had it, they said that if your grandfather then. So
well, no, that's if you're paying on a credit card, but if you're paying by card, I did hers, but I do hers by buying the Xbox Live currency cards. I'm not paying by credit card on hers.
I don't think that matters, but
who knows if it matters?
It doesn't matter anymore now because they ain't doing it. But still,
it doesn't matter anymore.
Go ahead.
No, but that's the biggest thing for me. It kind of like pissed me off to the point. Then it started making me think about what the heck is this company doing? Like the point that you literally thought you could pull this type of thing off, and you don't even have the Class A to do it. It really hurt my feelings because I'm like, I feel like we do a lot.
So you're mad at Xbox right now?
Heck yeah, I'm still pissed at them. They think that this whole coming out and apologizing for it is going to change the narrative for me. I mean, it's going to take more. That was kind of what my video really was. It was like, that's why I said at the beginning, I'm not going to leave Xbox because I really truly enjoy Xbox and that's where my friends are. I have a PlayStation to play those games if I want to play over there. So I really ain't wanting for anything. But I like the biggest thing for me was telling them is like, you coming out and apologizing. Absolutely. You needed to do that. You coming out and telling people that free to play games are going to be free to play on Xbox finally. I don't buy that because that was something you were going to do anyway. So you basically gave that to us as an olive branch to basically make it seem like it was this good gesture that technically hasn't even happened yet. And that kind of stuck with me a little bit too. And then on top of it, I just thought about it, like you don't even have the Class A to pull off what you tried to pull off. And this all literally just went down this deep rabbit hole of things that I didn't really think of that really affected me until that situation happened, because I just didn't like that one bit at all. And it just all came out in the video. So I did tell Luca that I do think I did use choice words when it came to what I said. I shouldn't have probably said that I awakened or something, or I shouldn't have said that because I've been on podcasts and I've been telling people that Xbox ain't got
it wasn't awakened. I can't remember the exact wording you said. You said something like to the fact that like you just came to the realization or something like this. It was just like I think that's what really kind of cool. People like, how did you just come to this realization?
Yeah, how did you just come to this realization?
And you on like 20 podcasts a week. And people have been telling you this every single day of these podcasts. I needed to address this because it was off. It was just like, wait, what?
No, it's good. I mean, you family, you second the Luca when it comes to all this. So I give you exclusive look, just like I gave her on her podcast. So I just want to know, are we done?
We are done.
Are we square now?
We are done.
Okay.
For now. So anyway, I'm kidding. Some other late breaking news popped up that I kind of wanted to address first before we really get into the main topics of the show. One is, oh man, I can't remember wait, let me double check it. Well, first I want to talk about the whole Halo Infinite thing. So there's two things that came out with that. There's some Halo Infinite details that came out, as well as the news about
Jason Staten.
Joseph Staten. So the Joseph Staten news is that Joseph Staten is now head of creative, which I don't really quite know what that position means. I mean, I don't. It's not like, hey, I'm director of the company or I'm general manager. Head of creative. I mean, it's a creative title. I don't know what that really entails, but I'm just gonna put on my Slow-Mo Damas hat once again and say I told y'all so, because I said a year ago when not quite a year ago, this was like maybe like 6-8 months ago, when it was announced that he was joining 343 to help on Halo Infinite, that this was like the beginning of a long-term restructuring of 343, that Joseph Staten was taking this studio over. He will be running 343 very soon. And here we are. He came in and they said, oh, he's just a consultant working on the story and campaign. That was the initial thought. Then all of a sudden, Joseph is running Chris Lee is out, the previous director. Joseph Staten is running Halo Infinite. I said, here we go. And then now he's head of creative. This dude has been promoted more times in half a year than most people have been promoted in their entire lives. This guy is just moving on up the ladder. He's pretty much right below Bonnie Ross right now, who I think is a lame duck director at this point. And I don't want to be mean about saying that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but I think she really mismanaged the studio. She allowed this game to not be ready at launch, and then even be shown in the way that it was shown. You shouldn't show a game that doesn't look ready. And this is the first time. There's always been missteps with 343, and it's just time for a new leadership. You know how it is where you got a sports team, and the team has talent, it's got good IP. Well, in this case, good IP, but let's say the team's got talent and they got everything that you would think they should need to win, but they don't win. And the players don't listen to the coach. What happens there is they fire the coach, they replace him, because you need someone, new leadership. You need someone at the top to change the culture of the organization, and that's what 343 needs. What's up, Lady Foxfire in the chat? How you doing? Well, also want to shout out Dizzy is in the chat. What's going on, bro? And I think and One Bad Mother. What's up, man? I think it's inevitable that Bonnie is going to be out, and if we've seen previously with previous directors that left, because there's 3 that have left from Halo Infinite, that they weren't outright fired. They weren't like, no one came to them and said, hey, here's a box, put your stuff in it, get the F out. No one said that. What they do is that they remove you from your position. You don't have any duties, and they let you figure it out for yourself. Like, you choose your own exit strategy, because you're now no longer working the position that you had before. So Bonnie is, I think, no different than the Chris Lee and the previous guy that was running Halo Infinite, is that she's in the position that she has, but it's all ceremonial. It's she's a figurehead. She's a lame duck director, that they're going to allow her to choose her own exit. And I think that transition will likely happen after Halo Infinite launches, so that it looks like she saw it through, even though she really hasn't really been running things or being in charge for a while. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Forte?
Man, I don't know. I do think that Jason has a huge role to play going forward with 343. I can't see him being the head of 343 at some point too. The thing for me with Bonnie Ross is she has 2 titles. She's VP, she's vice president at Microsoft, and she's head of 343. So, I mean, at a certain point, they could just reassign her. I mean, they did the same thing with Shannon Loftus when they moved her, and they actually moved her to her own studio instead of having her basically over all of over Xboxes. What was it she was over? Was she over third party?
Oh yeah, wait, yeah. I forgot what her role was.
Was she over? Yeah, she was over third party acquisitions and stuff, wasn't she?
I think, yeah, and she had some really lame ideas about games. Seemed like all she wanted was like kiddie games, and she didn't like that. That's, I'm sorry, we grown adults. The demographic, the biggest demographic in gaming are adults that can pay for their own games, and they ain't trying to play no kiddie stuff. Super Lucky's Tale was not what they looking for. They want something a bit more mature, and she definitely didn't have that mentality, so she had to go.
I can see this. The thing, I think there's a lot of things that happen with being the head of 343. Now I can see Jason Staten being the overall head of the studio, running the when it comes to the development side of whatever game they're doing. But I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to believe that they may just move away from Bonnie because she has so many different roles that she has there. It might be the fact that they just want to take her role and diminish it down to the point where she's just basically over the studio as a person that basically just deals with the financing and day-to-day stuff that's going on, because Halo is more than just a game. It's, you know, the movie side, it's the production side of the game. Then you also have the merchandising side of it. I don't know if Jason wants to really deal with all that extra stuff that's going on with it. I mean, he might be up for it. I mean, who knows? But I think
would be a little bit out of his wheelhouse. It'll be something new for him.
So I can see them keeping just like they had Chris, because Chris was right next to Bonnie Ross, but he was more of the person that ran the studio's day-to-day activity. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Jason is going to do. So I do think Bonnie will slip through this and make it and still be, quote unquote, the person that is at the very, very top of what 343 is. But I do agree with you that Joseph Staten is going to be the person that's pretty much in charge of the studio when it comes to managing the employees face to face, having those conversations with the different dev teams face to face when it comes to the creative side of what's going on in the game. I do think he may be the last person that stuff goes through when it comes to decisions that are being made, that's being put into the game. I just think Bonnie Ross is going to be that person that's going to oversee everything when it comes to a studio side of the finances.
Forte, the Winter Soldier wants to let you know that it's Joseph Staten, not
what
Jason.
I thought I said Joseph Staten.
You said Jason. You were screaming Jason like in Heavy Rain.
Thank you.
Jason.
It sounds better as Jason, but yeah, you're right. His name is Joseph Staten. But
if you get a chance to talk to him, we'll let him know that, like you sound like a Jason. You seem like a Jason, Joseph. You're better as a Jason.
You're better as a Jason. Everything is better as a Jason. Sorry to all the Josephs out there. But no, that's what I think. I think, in a perfect world, I just don't think he wants to deal with the extra stuff that Halo truly involves in. We
don't want to go that far yet.
No, we don't know.
We don't know what his mindset is. He could be looking for a new direction in his career. He's been doing what he's been doing now for his entire career in gaming. Taking over the full studio and being the director of the full studio is like a whole different adventure. So maybe he'll be down for that. Now, I did want to bring up something that Replicant said in the chat, that Bonnie is also VP with Xbox Studios. I think she's like a deputy under Matt Booty. So what I can see them doing to kind of help save face for her is that they remove her from 343, but it's not publicly stated that way. They'll say that they are elevating Joseph Staten to her old role with 343, and now since she's been doing dual duties as deputy to Matt Booty and also head of 343, that she's just doing that role and she's just helping manage
going to be
all of the different 23 studios that they have now. That's probably what they're going to do, because they don't seem to be, this part of Xbox leadership doesn't seem to be the kind that's just like, yo, here's a box. You know what you need to do with it. Kind of like they don't do that. They let you choose your own exit strategy, it seems, or they transition you to something else that works better. But excuse me, the other thing that I did want to talk about was some of the new details that came out from Tom Warren. So Tom Warren says that Halo Infinite engine, which is the slipspace engine, it's seems like it's getting a little bit more optimized. It says the multi-threading solution rebuilt, so it runs better across lots of PCs and CPUs instead of optimally on Xbox One. Sandbox team says all of our launch content is in-game and being played daily. So it looks like they're getting closer to launch. It looks like the game likely might not be delayed again out of fall 2021. Forte, what do you think about that, man?
Is that game going to look better than it looked before?
Wait, have you seen the screenshots?
I've seen them. Screenshots and moving stuff is completely different, though.
True. Very, very true. A still screenshot can look amazing.
Oh, yeah.
A still screenshot is moving in 0 frames per second.
Right, exactly. I can make anything look good at a standstill shot, but right. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited because I love Halo, and as much as I don't think that game was going to come out this year, that was just more of, I just don't know if that game has enough time baked in it to actually give people what they truly want out of that game, because the people were very disappointed in the overall direction that they went to, especially when it comes to the graphical fidelity. People feel like Halo definitely needed to take an upgrade. Even if they did go back with the original palette that they wanted to use for the game, people just felt like they could have still did that better. So I just didn't think within a year's time they could really truly upgrade that part of the game, because that's the thing that people really were harping on, was the visual part of it. But even if they didn't do that, it just really comes down, is the story good? If the story's great and we have a multiplayer that kind of at least rivals what Halo 5 did and tries to harken back to some of what Halo 3 did, I think people will be happy. The biggest problem that they're going to have is a lot of people are going to be picking at this game with a fine-tooth comb, wondering exactly what's going on with it. And they're not going to get any breaks on anything that's wrong with this game when it releases. It's not going to be any situation where people are going to be like, oh, well, they'll fix it at the launch. Well, no, you already delayed this game a whole year. We're expecting this game pretty much to come out perfect. And you know what? That might not be fair, but that's going to be what the expectation is, because people thought this game was supposed to come out a year ago and you had all the time in the world to fix the things that's going on with it. So I think whenever this game does finally release, it could be this year, it could be next year, scrutiny will be at an all-time high. But I did see the screenshots, and the screenshots look phenomenal. It is really good to know that they're playing the game in full, playing it at full right now. But I just think at this point, everybody's just going to take a wait and see approach until they actually see it for themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are definitely going to launch this game in fall. And I think, although everything looks better based off of how they are phrasing things, we haven't seen any actual gameplay in any footage for real. So until we see that, there's no way of definitively saying that it looks better. But they're saying all the right things right now.
You know what they could do?
Even if they weren't saying all the right things and they were being completely mum on everything, it's still coming out fall 2021. Here's why. And part of it is we could probably transition as soon as we get done with this into one of our main topics is Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge is a great example of why Halo Infinite is coming out fall 2021, regardless of what state the slip space engine is in and how it looks visually. Because it seems to me that although Microsoft is all about creative freedom now, they not exactly all about infinite time.
Right.
Because Bleeding Edge was not ready. And the announcement, the reason why I'm saying that now, the announcement today came out from Ninja Theory, and I'll read their announcement. They said that on their Twitter account, with the studio now focusing on our new projects, Senua's Saga, which is Hellblade 2, Project Mara, and the Insight Project. What's the Insight Project? I don't even know what that is. You know what the Insight Project is?
IP?
I have no, like, I'll have to look that up later on. I don't know what the Insight Project is, but that's 3 things they're working on. We have decided that there will be no further content updates for Bleeding Edge. The game is still playable on Xbox and PC. Thank you to the fans that keep teaming up and causing chaos. So, yeah, Bleeding Edge is done. How long that game been out? Less than a year. It came out in February of last year. So after 11 months, Bleeding Edge is dead.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
And I saw the writing on the wall with it when I was in the closed alpha, closed beta, the open beta, and the whole entire time there were glaring issues I saw with the gameplay loop that I thought was an issue. The other issues I never even mentioned because I thought, hey, it's just the alpha. The fact that they only got 2 modes means nothing. That's just only the 2 modes they're showing us.
Right.
Wrong. There's only 2 modes they had. I couldn't believe it. All the limited characters. They're just kind of showing us, what they got that's like working really, really good right now. They're gonna have more characters at launch. Wrong. That's all the characters they had. That's all the maps that they had. And all the things that I thought that's fine for an alpha turned out to be what they had for launch. And that's just not enough. You can't get people who like that hero shooter genre to leave a game like Overwatch that's got like 4 times as many characters as you with way better looking characters, because your characters look terrible. That should have been the first thing that should have been changed with this project. Is some of these characters, the character model should have been redesigned. I shouldn't be feeling sick looking at one of these characters, okay? But the other thing is that all the content that your competition has, it's not fair. Yes, Overwatch has been out for years, but life ain't fair. If you're trying to take away that Blizzard's community and get a portion of them to play your game permanently, you need to have content that's on par with that. If that means delaying the game, that means Xbox goes, another year or so without having content, so freaking be it. Like, do you want the game to succeed or not? And they took too long adding content as well. Like, when they finally did add characters, people already quit the game. Now, you compare that to another kind of a hero shooter in a sense, Rogue Company. Rogue Company came out, had nice little foundation. They hit the ground running. They gave a roadmap for 2020. They gave you more characters. They dropped 2 characters all in the shorter period of time they've been out since the Ninja Theory and Bleeding Edge. They've dropped more characters, more maps, more modes, more everything. And yes, they're a bigger team. But then if you want the game to succeed, I mean, Microsoft has doubled the number of developers they have under them in all of those studios they had even prior to acquiring Bethesda. Go ahead, and give them the resources they need and the manpower they need to make it work. Or delay the game. I just don't understand why it was released in that state. In that early access. Here's the game, it's completed. Like, that's not good enough. But what do you think, man?
That's pretty much how they did it. I remember when you was talking about the game, you was like, yeah, man, this game is slow, it's boring, the characters are ugly.
Yeah.
I remember those conversations, and
like 3 good-looking characters in the game. Gizmo, Damon's the best-looking character in the game. The guy with the samurai mask and the sword, he's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's the coolest character in the game.
That's why he's on the very front of the picture.
Right. He's all over all the promo stuff because he's the only one that's really like marketable.
Yeah.
Dag and Zero Cool, the kid who acts like every millennial out there with his head stuck in his phone the whole time while he's fighting. I thought that was a great idea. Those 3 characters, all their characters, the only character designs I thought they should have kept. Everything else should have been changed.
Yeah. For me, the biggest thing that it kind of brings to light is just the fact that, once again, it's just another game that Xbox and Microsoft basically just ushered out there, just said, well, you got this game, well, we're just going to release it because it's somewhat done. The fact that game had a physical release, which is crazy. I have physical copies of that game in my store, and I was looking, I was like, man, this is actually.
Have you ever sold a physical copy of that game?
Yeah, it released on disc.
But I mean, did you actually sell any?
I don't think so. At least I don't remember.
That's wild.
I don't think I might still have the 2 same ones that I had for the last year. It might be, but I mean, I'm never gonna knock them for trying to do something different. I just think it also comes back to the fact that you have all these other games out here that are doing what you're doing, but they're doing it better. It's like I always see games like Overwatch, or I'll see games like Division or Destiny, and those games, when one game tries to come out and do something like them, I always get kind of unnerved when I say, how do you make this game? And there's so many games that came out before that literally gave you the blueprint and you still mess up the blueprint.
Right.
That's kind of what did it for me on this. I mean, even if you think of games like Lawbreakers, from Cliffy B and them, you saw what happened with that game, and you saw what happened when people didn't have content, and people actually liked playing that game. Like, for the most part, people actually enjoyed it, but it wasn't enough content to sustain it.
Right. And Bleeding Edge, initially, fun game. Initially, it's just that because of the lack of modes, the lack of characters, the slow pace, it gets boring really quick.
Yeah.
And after like 2 or 3 weeks, you're done because the cosmetics weren't varied enough. So there's no chase for that. You're not leveling up characters or getting different, you're getting mods to kind of change how some of your characters, their abilities, like maybe the duration of a particular ability would be a little bit longer, or do a little bit more damage with a particular kind of ability or skill, but nothing too drastic that really would have like content creators making videos like, yo, here's the new build for Gizmo. I'm telling you, this is like none of that, because there's nothing there in the game. It just wasn't deep enough. Even though every single character had their own skills, there was nothing deep enough in the game to make you actually say, yeah, I'm going to actually keep playing this particular character to learn this character, and then also be able to like have a build that I really work with. Like, I never felt it had that level of depth to it. And when you don't really have that, after a few weeks, you're just like, I'll come back to this if they drop something else. But and that's the other issue, is they took too long after launch to drop new content. And so that dolphin character, I think, was the first character that they came out with, and it took like months for that character to come out.
Yeah, I see. Replicate. He said, "Look at paladins and smite still going strong." And I remember when paladins
Studio,
came. Yeah, I
high
remember
res
when Paladin came out, man. I loved that game. Loved it. It was really, really good. It was literally a copy of Overwatch, like thin, like through and through. But the game was fun, and then they varied enough over the course of the generation to make it somewhat different. I also see Winter's Shoulder. He actually says he actually bought Bleeding Edge for $15. He said he'll never buy another Games of a Service from Ninja Theory ever again.
Yeah. You know, I was just talking to Victor in the chat as well. Victor was saying, where is it? Let's see here. He was saying Ninja Theory certainly were lucky because if Bleeding Edge was their next game, it would probably have killed their studio, which, you know, they were kind of right on the edge of shutting down for so long. And I agree, but I do think that if it wasn't for Microsoft, this game would have never saw the light of day.
Yeah.
It was a game that they were working on, but they couldn't find a publisher to publish it.
I think that was the main reason they said that the reason they hardly let Microsoft. And the reason I don't get on them about this game is because I think this was kind of, I mean, who knows? But I think this was part of the agreement for Microsoft to buy them, that they still let them publish that game.
And that's fine. That's fine, right? Because it's like that creative freedom thing is cool. That's what they should be doing. They should be allowing Ninja Theory to put out a game that they really feel passionate about.
Right.
The issue is the quality assurance part, the quality control part. Yes, go ahead and drop Bleeding Edge. We see it has potential, but in order for it to actually have legs, in order for it to gain a community and sustain it and keep it, it needs to have these bullet points. Not saying you change how your game plays, although I think they should have tweaked that because it plays way too slow. But you need to have more modes than what you got right now. You need more maps, you need more characters, you need more cosmetics, and frankly, we need to get what do they call it when they bring in people to kind of test products out? A test group, a control group, something like that. Like you need a control group to come in here.
Yeah.
And look at these characters and give you an honest opinion, while you're behind like a one-way looking glass to see what they think about your ugly characters. Because I think that you would probably have an eye-opening experience if people told you before the game came out that your characters kind of turn them off.
Yeah, Luca just came up. Shout out to Ashley Luca being in the chat. She said she has a theory. What if Bleeding Edge wasn't a passion project, but it was in development before Microsoft bought them? What if they started working on it as a last-ditch effort before they tried to save their studio before closing? And they chose a genre that was very popular. And I mean, that's kind of where I was thinking about the situation, because it could be a passion project, but it also could be a fact that they say, yo, what is a genre out there that everybody's jumping into? That's what you see with all of the battle royales now. That's why you see so many of them. People look at it like, you know, what can we do? Like when what was the name? Lawbreakers went down. They came out with Radical Heights. It was literally just to be a cash grab at what was the most popular thing out there to try to save the studio in general. And that could have been exactly what happened with that. So Luca might be onto something.
Yeah, I think that may very well be the case, that they saw Overwatch blow up and they said, oh, we can do something like that, but we're like a melee based combat kind of studio instead of it being a straight up shooter, or having so much more shooting elements that Overwatch has. Let's do our version of that. But then it's like, yeah, because maybe that would save the studio, because that's the kind of game that if a game like that has legs, you're going to get. It's almost like you don't have to do as much content as if you did like a single player campaign kind of game, because people are playing the same content over and over and over again. It's repetitive, but for the players that are playing it, they don't feel like it's repetitive. They feel like it's fresh content because they really enjoy what they're playing. But I think they completely dismissed some of the reasons why Overwatch is popular, and some of it's really cringy.
Don't you know?
I mean, I'm not gonna get into the kind of stuff that you can find on the internet about these Overwatch characters.
They got their own corner of OnlyFans.
Right, and it's just there. You gotta pander to that a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta do a little fan service, you know, a little bit to in order to keep the game going. Because I think if Overwatch had it as hideous as characters as Bleeding Edge did, I don't think it'd be around right now. Though the game plays well, and Blizzard had a very stable game at launch with a ton of characters and maps and content. Them characters was ugly. People don't want to play that. You don't want to.
You wouldn't find any Bleeding Edge characters on the side of a milk carton missing.
Oh, no. Now unless they want to scare some kids.
Exactly. You see Tracer on the side of them all the time.
Right. But let's move on. The medium came out today. Forte, did you get a chance to play it yet?
I worked.
I got you. Yeah, I had to work too, but fortunate enough, I work from home. I didn't have a ton of time, but I did get it.
You rub it in.
I try.
That's why I'm surprised that server ain't blow up somewhere.
What?
I'm surprised the server didn't blow up somewhere because you wasn't at work.
Well, I work from home, so I can still access those.
I'm just messing with you.
I don't know where you're going with it, but it didn't go
serious. I was basically just saying, since you wasn't at work, a server probably blew up somewhere because you wasn't there to help them fix it.
You know.
But it seemed like I was about to hurt your brain, so I just let it go.
No, you hurting your brain trying to come up with that.
Saying.
Anyway,
I was like, huh? What? Where?
But back on topic here.
I did
play the medium a little bit. I played about 20 minutes of it. Maybe more like 15 minutes. I didn't really have too much time to play it, but I was intrigued with what I saw so far. I see why the game, and if you look at the reviews on Metacritic, I think it's a 73 right now, but double check it real quick. And I see why it is that, and I also see some of the criticisms that it got with the visuals. Now, the first thing, wait a minute, it actually went up. Well, on PC is a 76 now. That's shocking.
PC's Xbox PC.
No, it's not. And Xbox on. Oh, never mind. No, the PC is not. You know how like when people look at Metacritic, they always go by your score is which platform has the most reviews.
Which is the most reviews?
Yeah. So it's a 71 on Xbox Series X and a 76 on PC. So first thing I want to say the positives of my experience.
3090 to play it with.
Here's the thing. I got a 2070 Super, and I got a locked 60 frames per second so far.
Really?
Yes.
That's like a contrast to what everybody was saying.
Here's why I think so. This game is rendering two different worlds at the same time.
Yes, it is.
Now, I haven't even got to the split world stuff yet, so maybe my frame rate would drop then. But I do believe because it's doing so much and it has to render so many different things. I know the rendering part is the GPU part, but the CPU part is making sure it's telling what the GPU what to do and making sure that everything's running properly. I think that you need to have a super robust CPU to run this game. And we see a lot of people in this community brag about their GPU, but their CPU is a wimp. They like to go to the gym and all they do is work on their chest and their arms,
and they got legs.
They got little chicken legs, like the big top heavy big buck dude. He got a 20-pack, but his legs look like he never seen leg day. That's a lot of. Their GPUs are 3090, but they got an i5 CPU. What you doing? You got a Ryzen 20. What you doing? Why you got that weak CPU? You like so it's my CPU is an i7 9700K, which is already a really good CPU, one of the best CPUs that come out the year it came out a couple years ago. But I overclocked it to 4.7 gigahertz on the clock speed. I think that's part of the reason why I'm not having any issues with the frame rate. Now, that said,
Magnificent said, what settings are you using?
I'm playing it at 1440p because I got a 2070 Super. So
Wait, did you say? Hold up, maybe. Oh, wait,
What?
hold on a second.
What?
I just want. I'm fixing my ears. Say that again. You said 14 what?
1440p.
Okay.
What do you think I
Maybe
said?
I'm hearing Pikachu stuff, and I thought you said 1440 Pika.
What?
I thought you said Pika.
You and Pikachu. I don't know what's going on. I'm running.
Oh no, V. No,
Okay,
listen,
all right. Let me get back on
bro.
topic. I don't
No,
care about Pikachu. I don't know what you thinking. I don't know
listen,
what's
no
going on.
V, bro. No V, bro. I swear to God, I thought you said 1440 Pika.
Okay, all right. That's you wilding right now. Look at it. It did sound like you said.
Somebody please go back and rewind this stream and listen to what he says P, and you tell me if it sounds like he said Pika.
Grief. 1440p. No Pika. P. Singular. One letter. P. 1440p is the resolution. Let's see. I do have ray tracing on. I can't remember. I don't even remember seeing the DLSS setting. Maybe it was already on, but I'm running it at ultra. So 60 frames per second. The environment looks really good. The environment, I'm very impressed with the way the world looks. There was a part where there's I think it's because this takes place in Poland. It's a Polish city, and there's a part where the way the camera pans is really good too. And you're looking at a fountain in like this courtyard square, and I'm like, wow, that looks like almost photorealistic. I think maybe they should have kind of like maybe had dropped some of the details in the environment in order to make sure that other things, they had enough memory and enough resources for other things, because the rest of the stuff ain't that great. Environment looks beautiful. And so that's why it's kind of uneven, but it kind of makes sense because this is the developer that previously did first-person shooter games. Not first-person shooter, but first-person perspective games. And so it would make sense to me that they would be really good at making environments, but not really good at rendering animations, character animations. Good grief, the character animations. Oh my. So I've only played it for 15 minutes, and already I see everything that the people are complaining about. One, there's a flickering issue with lighting. I would see like flowers, and say a white flower in a garden, and then I'll be walking, and those flowers would like flicker to like black, and then back to like, it would be real fast, but it would be like, it's definitely noticeable and jarring when you see it, and it kind of like it's distracting. By the way, good night, Replicant. Have a good
night, Replicant, man. Have a good night. Thanks for coming through, bro.
So there's that, right? And then there's the whole stiff character look. So the way the characters move, the way she moves, like I would like be in a room and I see that there's a little icon pop up or like a flashlight to say there's something for me to interact with behind me. I would go turn behind me, and it's like her upper body, her shoulders turn before her legs turn. So it looks weird. So did they mocap at all? I don't know.
Dizzy said they did, but he don't believe they did.
They claim they did, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it either.
I don't believe it either from what people are saying about it.
This actress walking around, and that's how she turns. She turns with her shoulders, but her legs stay still for like a full second before they turn too. That's crazy. And One Bad Mother says mocap is expensive for a small studio. Well, this is why, as a second party, but as a timed exclusive, something that Microsoft was marketing like crazy, they should have helped them out. You have in-house performance capture, not even mocap, a step up, performance capture, proprietary hardware. technology that you could actually have them use in order to do better, so that you don't have these kind of issues. And there's the other thing is Magnificent Black says 1440p, 60 frames per second, high, ultra. I said it was whatever the highest setting was. Black. I can double check it in a little bit, but whatever the highest setting was is where I had that. I got 60 frames per second.
So the
question. Other
go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say was about the facial animations. So Digital Foundry said that it reminded them of Heavy Rain, and I was if you play Heavy Rain, them facial animations, wow, it's bad. I think David Jaffe was talking about another thing that I am going to talk about, which is the motion mapping. I'm actually going to show a video about what motion mapping should look like. But Digital Foundry said that their facial animations look like Heavy Rain. Now, the details in the face blow away anything that was on Heavy Rain's or PS3. But I agree with them on like the main actress, the main character's face is dead. Like she talks and there's like no emotion because her cheeks don't move, her face doesn't move, none of that stuff moves. Her eyes are really dead. Her eyes spook me out because she'll be monologuing and talking. There's a part where she's like sitting down and she's talking out loud and she looks at the camera, at the player, and her eyes are just dead. It's like a corpse talking to me. And I'm like, this is the kind of stuff that, like, if you decide to go third person, you gotta nail these things because you're not actually experienced with this kind of stuff. You need to be better at that. And they just didn't get it done. So real quick, and you could go ahead and talk about what you feel about the game or what you've seen about it. I'm gonna pull up this I'm gonna get this video.
I just want to know, because I have the game booted up on the Xbox right now. You know the screen where it had you adjust the brightness? It has the picture of the character up there.
Yeah.
How accurate is that picture to what the game looks like?
It's pretty accurate. That's pretty.
Yes, that looks like a 360 game.
Yeah, the character model. It's the way she walks, like her. Look, this is why I want to show this, because the way she walks is really awkward. She walks like she ain't got no. I'm gonna say not swag, but it's just like she walks like there's no individual cadence. You know what I mean? Like everyone walks different. You know, like you may walk slightly different than someone else. Someone who may have got like a injury in the military or in sports may walk with a slight limp. Everyone has a different kind of walk. It adds personality to a character. She's got like nothing. She just walks. She's just walking, just flop, 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 and it's just like
you got a twitch in her booty or anything.
She ain't got it. Come on to say she ain't got it.
Come on now, you know when you come on, someone now you know when you playing third party, you got the booty got to go up and back and forth. It ain't no definition back there.
Nothing there.
Dang, that's bad.
It's a black hole back there.
I just got to look at the back of this character and just dream, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show what this is a video from a guy who is a independent developer.
He has no ankles.
This guy's an independent developer. His name is Marcus Dev, and he's created his own algorithm for motion matching. And so this stuff is in. I've seen other forms of this that other people have developed in Unreal Engine, which is what this game is running on. And it's like I've seen one that's like a $35 plugin. $35, like seriously, like that's all they could have spent $35 and been legally able to use this guy's motion matching, which is way better than what they actually have in the game. So I'm going to show this real quick. So you see this, Forte?
I do see it.
So this is this guy's motion matching algorithm. And oh my gosh, the sound, I need to hold up. Yeah, the music's terrible. But
what does it sound like? A jingle?
no, it's I can't even tell you what it sounds like. But you see how he's what? Okay, here we go. You see how the motion is more natural.
Yeah.
And this is how it's supposed to work, where I mean, it's not perfect, clearly, but it's way better than what we see and way more natural looking than what we see in the medium. So that's done. Because I can't stand that music. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to show that real quick so that people can kind of understand what it should look like and what it's not. Now, so as One Bad Mother is saying, like, there are small studios that do it well. Absolutely. Ninja Theory does it well. Asobo does it well. Asobo with A Plague's Tale Innocence. This kind of stuff was done very well. And when you're using Unreal Engine, which is the most widely used and most versatile engine out there, you can actually take assets that other people have developed and use it for your game. There's just no excuse for it. So
she don't even got any nails. You got me looking at every little, because I'm like looking at the beginning part, and she actually doesn't look that bad after the thing, but it doesn't.
Her character model doesn't look bad. It's just that once her character model moves, you see all the imperfections.
Yeah, but if you like Slumbo, I challenge you to go look at the beginning of the game and just look at her fingers. It looks like her fingers are just her fingers with no nails on them.
She has no nails on her fingers?
No, it looks like she has no nails on her fingers.
I mean, I'll double check that next time.
Yeah, it looks weird. I mean, you can see that they tried to add like the indents where the nail would be at, but you know how it's like, you know how your nail is like kind of discolored from the rest of your hand, so you can kind of see like the definition of your nail on top of your hand. There's none of that in the game.
Right. And
it's weird. Like, I'm just, I don't know. It's just something crazy.
The story seems to be somewhat intriguing. I think everyone kind of understands what the premise of this is. This is kind of like it's supposed to be horror, but I heard from many people that it's not very scary at all. But it's more like a kind of a walking simulator kind of game with like a very eerie atmosphere and an eerie environment. I do like story wise what I saw from it in the very short time period I played it, and so I'm going to continue playing it because I found it intriguing. But this is, what people call it, the medium. The medium. I get it. I get why they say that, because here is another game that's just like a 70 rated game. It's not anything that's going to like blow the doors off. And if this was on a different platform, if this was on a Nintendo platform, which there's no way this will run on a Switch, it will melt your Switch. But if this was on a PlayStation, this would be a kind of like a ho hum, okay, cool, kind of game that people would play, but it wouldn't be anything. There's other games on PlayStation to play, so they wouldn't even worry about the fact that this is what it is. Whereas if you have kind of a lack of exclusive content on your platform, and then this comes out, it's almost unfair to Bloober Team, because they're being kind of thrust into a role of almost like a first party studio, and they're not that, clearly.
This feels like RE1.
Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, that's what this feels like. Running around with the character. It's like every motion feels like it takes effort to do. Like, it's like you, instead of just turning around, you have to like, it's kind of hard to explain. It's like she's turning all at the same time, instead of just like, you turn your hips, you turn your shoulders, your hips lean into it, and then you turn your body. It's like this person's body is just turning all at one time. There's no fluid motion in the game.
Yeah,
but it don't literally, when I'm literally getting PTSD, like I'm playing Resident Evil, and I'm like, I don't want to play this. But I'm gonna play it because I definitely want to see what it's like. But there's one thing I will say, just looking at it. You know how Naughty Dog does their games, and it's not a fair comparison because Naughty Dog is like
There are masters.
They're just. But I would even say a studio like Ninja Theory when they did Hellblade, the cutscenes, the in-game cutscenes, they pretty much look like what the game looks like when you play it. Like there is a stark difference between this game when it's in its cinematic mode, when it's running in engine cutscene versus when you're actually walking around as the character. I guess this is where that 900p pops in, where it looks blurry, like the character's face in her character model. That might be where it's coming. That's coming in. They might be giving us a higher fidelity look at her face because it's really pushed in. So they're giving you more pixel quality to that area of the character. But when they pull the screen out and you're in third person, you're at 1900p or 900p and it looks blurry. So it's kind of like a starch difference between the different looks of the game. And some people probably aren't going to like that. I mean, I assume a lot of people won't, because I don't like it by just seeing it like that.
Right. Yeah. And it's, again, we talked about this last night on Brad, and shout out to Brad. If you ever watched the last night's episode of Brad, do check it out. Well, I kind of discussed how I see a lack of resources given to studios that aren't first party. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned how before Undead Labs became a first party studio with State of Decay 2, that they had developed the co-op to have a tether to whoever was hosting the game session, because they didn't have dedicated servers. Right. But this is an exclusive, not timed, an exclusive game from a second party studio. The game came out within weeks. Within weeks of Sea of Thieves, that first party studio that did have the use of your Azure service. It's just like, why would you not provide that to a studio that's developing an exclusive game for you? Now, it's not, I don't blame this on Undead, because Undead Labs did what they did to make sure that in case they went under, because they didn't know where they were going to get acquired by a Microsoft, they were going to have that opportunity. That in case they went under, if someone wanted to pick up State of Decay 2 and they actually liked it, the game will run and they could do co-op, because it would be peer-to-peer. They should have said, no, don't worry about that. We're not going to compromise the experience. You can use the Azure servers. You can have dedicated servers for your game. Why was that not available to a second party studio? Why is Bloober Team not getting the resources from your bigger AAA studios of how to do motion matching correctly? Why aren't they getting mocap help? Why aren't they getting help with facial animations? This is the first time doing a third perspective view game. Give them the help so they can make sure they can do it well. And so that if you really remember when Matt Booty said that they wanted the kind of studios they were looking for, they were looking for the kind of studios that could do a AA game like Hellblade, but be a AAA experience. Well, Hellblade, Ninja Theory were fortunate enough to have proprietary performance capture hardware technology that they were able to give you that kind of experience and not have to spend any money on that, because that stuff is expensive. You can't expect that from other AA studios that don't have those resources. And if you do expect that, you have to provide the resources to get the end result that you claim you want. You compare that to your competition. Your competition out here, when they get second party studios, they give them the moon. Hey, our Decima engine, That's our proprietary game engine. That's amazing. Hey, you can go ahead and use that. Supermassive Games for Until Dawn, Kojima Productions for Death Stranding. You can use our technology, sure. For a game, Death Stranding, that ended up on PC, didn't even stay on the platform. It's just, I see a lack of help for these studios. And
why do you think that is, though?
$1 million
question right there.
Yeah. I kind of want to say that this might be a issue with leadership, because I'm fairly certain that Xbox producers would want to help there. But then if you have, like, I don't know whether they offered that kind of stuff, but then said, you still got to pay for it like everyone else, which is not a help to them at all. They can't afford to pay for it. That's why they're not using it, right?
Right.
But your own first party studios don't have to pay for that kind of stuff, and they're making an exclusive game for you. I think that should just be kind of built into the package of being a second party developer for us, and also kind of like and get that studio to further want to actually be acquired by you, because they see the kind of resources that you have and how it improves the overall end product for their games. But I mean, whatever. So
the biggest question, another question then is, so what do you think these studios that Microsoft's been working with that aren't first party, with the level, like the way the games have been releasing and stuff, do you think any of these studios probably regret it? Do you think Bloober Team, I mean, they're never going to come out and say it, but do you think they regret the relationship with Microsoft, or do you think they're happy with just having the game released on a platform with as many players as Xbox, as Game Pass has, knowing that it's at 18 million now?
I don't think they regret it, because they're getting paid up front to have their game launched day and date in Game Pass. That's guaranteed money that they couldn't count on without that. Right. And the only other game that they had, I think, that before they started this relationship with Microsoft was Observer. And I don't know how well that game did, but
I think it was download only too, wasn't it?
Probably
been download only to this point.
Yeah, and Lucas said something that I absolutely agree with 100%. If it wasn't on Game Pass, I wouldn't even try it out. Yeah, that's me to a T.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't play these kind of games anyway. Like, I like a walking sim as a change of pace every now and then. I don't like the horror walking sims. Like, I kind of pass on those. So if it's more of, like I say, Life is Strange or a Telltale game. By the way, I finally tracked down Tales of the Borderlands. Got it on PlayStation 4 from a GameStop. So shout out to GameStop for that. And it should be arriving at my house tomorrow. For context to the chat, I was looking for the play Tales of the Borderlands again. I have it on Xbox, but I don't have a Xbox right now, and my son has an Xbox Series S, and I'm no way I'm playing Tales of the Borderlands on his Xbox. So I was trying to find a different.
What's wrong with his Xbox, Slow-Mo?
Nothing. It's I just don't want it installed on his Xbox, so then he could like start playing it and start seeing some of the humor that I don't think he's quite ready for.
Okay, it's parental decision. I got you.
Yeah, I wanted a different platform, PC preferably, but it's almost impossible to get it on PC now if you didn't already own the game. And but like my best bet was to find a actual disc copy for the PlayStation, and I was able to finally track one down. So awesome. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, I like walking simulators every now and then. I love the Telltale games. I love the Quantic Dream games. I love Supermassive games, even though Supermassive has been really sucking lately, but I keep playing them. but this one ain't really in my lane, so I wouldn't have even tried this out if it wasn't for Game Pass. But so to their credit, I'm pretty sure that they are happy with it being in Game Pass, because people who normally wouldn't even try their games are going to try their games just because they already got the service. So there's that, and they got paid up front.
Yeah, I also think the fact that Blair Witch came out gave them a nice little taste of what an ecosystem of people being able to just jump in and try their game without having to buy it would do for them. I mean, the only reason people know who Blooper Team was is because of games like Blair Witch coming out free on Xbox Game Pass, Observer being something that was probably less of with Observer being something that was downloadable only. I think that actually Observer probably got more recognition just because of Blair Witch being something that was in Game Pass, so it kind of opened up people's eyes to other games that they tried. Because most people want to know what these like this. Okay, like what other games does this studio make? And then they go find out, oh, I can, they can go look at videos or they could try it out. I just think this game overall was going to do well, at least on Xbox Game Pass, just because a lot of people out here have brand new Xboxes, and this is the quote unquote first. It's not even quote unquote. It is the first exclusive Xbox, not first party, but exclusive game that only is coming to the new Xbox systems and stuff.
Only time because it's
right now exclusively time right now.
We just don't know when.
Yeah, we just don't know when. Yeah, just like it's on PC, but yeah, we just don't know when.
I want to highlight something that One Bad Mother and Artemis said in the chat. One Bad Mother says indie studios do timed exclusives because they don't have the resources to develop for everything sometimes. I agree with that. That's also that's all this is. They got bag and free advertising to launch on Game Pass, not second party. Now, my answer is going to tie into my answer also for Artemis. So Artemis says, look, slow-mo, when you have two third-party contracts with company, there's levels that have to be set for intellectual property. You don't want to give your tech away for them to give it to your competitor. Okay. Now, the tech that they have is what I'm talking about is not necessarily stuff that can be given to your competitor. When I said they need help with motion matching, everyone does that. The engine is run on Unreal Engine 5, which is Epic's engine, and everyone has free access to it. You, me, Forte, everyone in the chat, we could go on our computer right now and download Unreal Engine for free. So it's freeware. And so what I said they needed help with, I said Arodimus.
I was letting it go until I saw Lucas say it in the chat.
Arodimus. Okay. Look, the tech is freeware. What they need to offer Bloober Team was help in knowledge and skills. They need to help them, show them how to do this. As I said before, there's better motion matching plugins for Unreal Engine on the Unreal Store, on Epic Store for $35.
Yeah,
I can get better motion matching, and I'm not even a developer. Helping them figure out how do you give away proprietary motion cap? Motion cap is you have that technology, you own it. You're letting them use it for their game. They can't give that to someone else. They can't give that to Sony. It's not that the Sony needs it. Sony got their own tech and it's damn good. So this isn't them giving them help when you already got a timed exclusive. It's only going to help your platform look better. And in retrospect, you look back at it now, if they would have did those things, and you look at the criticisms for the medium, which is it's a 70 rated game, this may have pushed it up to an 80 rated game. This would have had more people maybe actually checking it out, really maybe liking it. And then because you had that timed exclusive, it looks like a game that's your platform's game when it's really not just your platform's game. And that's not even costing you money. To get one of your devs to, hey, Tom, stop what you're doing. We're going to pay you to fly out. We're going to pay you to fly out to Poland for a couple of weeks. And you go out there and just show them how to do some facial animations. You go out there and you show them how to do motion matching. And then, hang out, chill, come on back. How much is that costing you, really? Oh, it looks like,
I saw it. I was looking like I went to go read the message. I was like, why did Luca time him out? She said, oh no, it was in my pocket.
I don't know how to undo
Artemis, you'll be back soon, sir. You'll be back soon.
I don't know.
Can't undo it.
As an apology for me saying your name wrong multiple times tonight and Luca timing you out by accident, Artemis, I made you a mod. So there you go. So you won't have to worry about getting timed out by accident anymore. And Luca, it's all good. Don't worry about it. One bad mother says Tom can't even get Halo done on time. You want him to fly out to help a third party indie? No, we don't want no help from 343. Okay, no, not them. Ninja Theory is a skip over the pond or whatever you want to call it. They within the same region. So is Playground Games, all in the same region. You could have had somebody from them come out and help them out. They're all in the same neighborhood. So there's ways to do this, and we hear that from their studios that they are helping one another and working with one another, but that's all within the first party. We see that your competition helps the second party, helps people that aren't first party.
I think that's the biggest thing that kind of just throws it off a little bit, is because everybody sees Xbox. I mean, everybody sees PlayStation and all the first party studios going back and forth with the third, but they do it with third party, do it with first party. Whenever it comes to a game that's going to be somewhat either timed or exclusive to the PlayStation, they try their best to basically ingratiate themselves to actually making sure that game meets that standard of quality that they want on the system and stuff. And when you see one platform do that, you see another platform that kind of just, once again, just allows the studio to do what they need to do. And we don't know what the inner workings of the relationship behind the scenes is. It could be the fact, like Artemis said, it could be that they aren't just making it like freeware for them to do. But in regards to what do you think is more important, the fact that this game is exclusive to your platform and it's actually going to, is also going to show off what your system can technically do, or do you just want them to release another game on your system and say, here's another checkbox that's on the console? Because right. I think that at a certain point is what people are kind of thinking Game Pass is when it comes to games. It's just a checkbox. It's like, okay, well, how many games did we release this month? Well, 4 games, checkbox. What games are going to be coming next month? Another checkbox. Oh, we're going to finally have a AAA exclusive game, something like Gears of War, and we're going to give you some free DLC that's going to probably be better than the base game. Oh, here's another checkbox. So that's what a lot of people kind of complain about Game Pass being. And when this game was announced and it was coming into Game Pass, and once they delayed it and everything, and we started seeing all of the technical breakdowns of the game, I knew that this was going to kind of come up being the situation with it. It's just very unfortunate that, once again, even knowing this is a second party that is, making the game for them exclusively on their system, timed at this point, they just don't have anything out there that really shows off what their system truly could do. Because anybody that says that this game has to be on this system to be what it is, I mean, when it comes to the setup that, you got 2 worlds rendering, I can understand that, but it still doesn't reach that pinnacle of what you expect your next generation system to do when it comes to the visual side of it. And that's not even talking about all the things that the game doesn't do on a technical level when it comes to like movement and just gameplay in general. Gameplay could be fine, but if people don't like the way the character controls, that kind of takes them out of the immersion altogether.
Exactly. And people miss all the details.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and I think the story seems very interesting so far. It's the only reason why, like, I'm very much the kind of gamer that if the game doesn't hook me within the first like 15 minutes, I may put it down and never play it again. I mean, just the way I am. I know there are a lot of games where people will say, "Well, you gotta play it for like 15 hours before it gets good." Not me. 15 hours and not enjoying myself, I can't do it.
Right. I'm not about that life. I think I did that one time. It was Mass Effect, the first one. And then I didn't enjoy parts of it. And then I played it. And I actually put that game down. I think that's what happened to a lot of people. I think Mass Effect 1 was not the game they wanted it to be, or the game they knew they wanted. Until the second one came out, and then they were like, yo, let me go back and play this first one and actually take it serious. And then all of a sudden you just started falling in love with everything that the game had. But that's because gameplay is what does it for you. Story definitely can carry you through, but the gameplay has to be interesting to the point, and it has to be good enough to a point to bring you through the doldrums of what terrible design you might have in the game and make you want to push through it.
Or the story has to be like just nailing it from the very start.
Yep, sure do.
All right. But that's the medium. It's, I would say, if you're interested in it, check it out. If you're not missing anything.
Welcome back, Artemis. Artemis.
You got me saying it now. You did it too.
You got me saying it now. Welcome back.
Welcome back, sir. Since we were talking about the medium and it being a Game Pass and all things Xbox, let's talk about some of the earnings call from information that they came out with. Of course, Xbox. I mean,
their stock going up like GameStop's got going up. Let's go.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, like of course they're not giving us the numbers for Game Pass. Well, they give us the numbers for Game. They're not giving us the numbers for
Game Pass. They're just not giving us
like
system
sold, that kind of stuff. But what they said was revenue for Microsoft was at 43.1 billion, an increase of 17%. Net income was 15.5 billion, and increased 33%. So essentially, in this one quarter, they earned twice of what they spent to acquire Bethesda. Xbox content and services revenue increased 40%. I'm going to skip the Surface stuff because we don't care.
Well, yes, we do. We were helping a friend try to get a Surface, so we know Xbox is out here selling Surfaces too.
Hey, well, I mean, like the Surface is actually a really, really good product. If I ever want a tablet, I'm gonna get a Surface. That's just,
I'm with you.
But something I think I'm gonna bring this up because I think this is interesting. Microsoft 365, which is the Office 365, is their subscription service for Microsoft Office Suite, which is pretty much the premier, the only Office software that most companies use when it comes to things like email with Outlook, a word processor with Microsoft Word, yada yada yada. Their subscriber for that increased to 47.5 million. Now, think about that for a moment. I want everyone to understand, because I know there's some people out here who think that if Microsoft was not doing so poorly in the console arena in comparison to Nintendo and Sony, that they wouldn't have done Game Pass. I disagree. I think Game Pass was going to happen regardless, because you see in a market where they are the long and away industry leader in the software for Office products, they still have a subscription.
It's a really good one too, because they give you some benefits that the physical one didn't give you. Because I have it, And when you can still get it, and that's the thing, they don't take it away, so you can still get
I
the
don't like
physical
some
product.
of the benefits though, like SharePoint. I was a SharePoint administrator
Yep.
for my company for a while, and I hate SharePoint. SharePoint's
Mm-hmm.
awful, but you get that with Office 365, and you get Azure and all kinds of other stuff with it. It's pretty good, but that has moved up to 47.5 million. So just the fact that they did that and how Nadella kind of operates kind of tells me that Game Pass was inevitable, whether they were number one in the industry or -2 in the console space. They were going to do Game Pass or some form of Game Pass. Erotimus.
Oh my God, Erotimus.
Butchering this.
Oh my God.
Erotimus says SharePoint. What version? When I was SharePoint administrator at my company, this was back in 2015. So I have no idea which version they're on now. All I remember is that my Wednesdays, I called them permissions reset Wednesdays, because SharePoint was so bad. The way it was set up, it would have features that people would want to use, but using those features would break their permissions for certain pages and groups they ran. And I would spend my entire Wednesday fixing everyone's permissions because it was terrible. I can't stand SharePoint. Hopefully it's better now, but it's awful. It's awful. Let's see. Xbox hardware revenue up 86% by console launch, and Game Pass subscription is now up to 18 million from 15. 2 billion in revenue from third-party titles. That's always been kind of high, if I recall, because they rely a lot on that.
What you say it was?
2 billion in revenue. And 100 million Xbox Live users on a monthly basis. And so, yeah, and of course, we already know they're selling out on the Xbox Series S and X. They don't stay in inventory for very, very long. That's as they don't sell out as quickly as PS5 does, but it's also isn't sitting on shelves collecting dust. So they're doing well, and that's good. Glad they're doing well. Why the hell did you decide to double Xbox Live Gold if you're doing so well? It's a very good question, because man, was I couldn't believe what I was reading when I woke up Friday morning after a very good DPS podcast last week that was on Forte's channel. And I'm just, getting my morning coffee, about to get ready with some work. I check my phone. I see Xbox got a new statement out. Okay, cool. What's this about? Oh, some changes to update to Xbox Live Gold. Okay. Like you doubling? Hold on. Here's the part that I found disrespectful, because it's like they disrespected everybody's intelligence. They didn't outright come out and say we're doubling the yearly sub, because they took away the yearly sub. There is no yearly sub. They took that away back in like October, November, actually, which kind of should have informed people that they was about to pull some tomfoolery on us. They introduced the 6-month subscription at $59.99, which was the 12-month subscription. And so, of course, do the math. 6 times 2 is 12. You're paying double what you were paying before. Well, not technically you, because if you had it, you're going to stay in that still $60 range. This was all for new customers. And so here's my theory. And Forte, I'm gonna throw this to you once I'm done with this. My theory is that they launched, and they planned on doing this from the very start. I don't think they knew or expected the Xbox to sell so well. And they'd already planned. This is why they got rid of the 12-month sub last year, to do this for Xbox Live, to kind of force people off of Xbox Live or force people to not even get Xbox Live Gold and just go straight to Game Pass. But they got so far in the first month a 70% adoption rate of new gamers with the new systems jumping into Game Pass. You see these numbers. These numbers are great for them. And they said, we don't have to do it, but we already got all these 6-month $59.99 cards printed out. Go ahead and distribute those to all the retailers. We're gonna do it anyway. And that's where they effed up. That's where they messed up. And I think they pulled back, and then they try to give us something to appease everyone, even though if you tried it right now, it still don't work. Then what I'm talking about is the whole free to play games aren't behind the Xbox Live Gold paywall, which they said they were going to do, but they haven't done it yet. And who knows when they're going to do it. And if you make that kind of announcement, you should probably give someone a date on when that's going to happen, and not just be like, hey, look, we're going to take care of that. That thing that y'all been complaining about for like years now that we just been ignoring. We got you. You probably should have put a date on that. It's going to happen in April, June, something. Don't just say we're going to take care of it, because I mean, when you talk to people and you ask them to do something, and they say, "I got you. I'm going to take care of it," but they don't tell you when they're going to do it. Do you ever actually think they're going to do what they said they're going to do? No. I'm not saying these guys, because they are a publicly traded company and they got customers, and they say they're going to do something this year. You expect it's going to happen this year, but it could happen in December. That's still technically this year. And
that's what happened when Halo comes out.
That's fall. So it's like, look, you made this announcement in January. You need to do this before then. Why are you waiting until Halo? If you make it free, truly free for free to play games ahead of time, what does it matter about Halo? It doesn't matter for Halo because it's already going to be free anyway. So it will only matter if you plan on doing it after Halo launched. So they could do it tomorrow. I don't see what you're waiting for. So, what do you think, man?
So, me personally, I think it was a crappy move. They underestimated how people wouldn't think this was a big deal, because most of the people that really truly care about this are already on a dollar deal, and this wouldn't affect them anyway. But people kind of wised up to that scenario over the course of the last few weeks and was like, we're not going to deal and take with whatever publishers or developers give us when it comes to what we actually care about when it comes to these games and stuff. So I think overall, I'm not going to say they misread the room, because they knew exactly what they were doing.
Exactly.
They knew what they were doing. It just came back to the point where, with all the stuff with CD Projekt Red happening, gamers being frustrated with stuff like that, then Xbox, right on the heels of it, not even a week later, after all the stuff that that gamers been through when it comes to, feeling like they were being betrayed and lied to by a company that everybody said they had their backs. And then Xbox comes out and tries to do this. And I think it just stung a lot of people really, really hard. I mean, it stung me really hard, because I was like, you don't have the position in order to do this. Like, you're not on even ground to be trying to pull a power move like this, because that's what this is. This is a power move. Do I respect the fact that they could do whatever they want to do with their platform? I do. I respect that. But I also respect the fact that all these people that are on your platform don't have to be here if you're going to pull something like that.
Dude, is that your phone?
Yeah, Addict keeps texting me.
Can you mute the phone?
I just did.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Continue.
I just think that overall, it really just comes down to, for me, for me, it just really just comes back to the simple fact that I'm just disappointed in the direction that they went when it came to that. But I'm not surprised. There's so many different ways they could have went with this. I would have rather them to come out and tell everybody in a statement on Xbox. They could have said they could have said the same thing they said, but they could have just came out and said, "Look, Xbox Live is going away. Everybody that's on Xbox Live, we're moving you over to Xbox Game Pass free of charge. So whatever your membership was, you're getting moved over to Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass are all tied together now. It's not a separate service anymore. So if you want to continue your foray into Xbox Live, it's all tied into this ecosystem." Some people would have said that sucked. But guess what? At least it would have been a notice to you that, hey, this is something that's going to happen. Plan accordingly, at a later date. But they tried to force people by saying, we're still going to give you this, but we're going to give it to you by saying that this other thing is such a terrible value. Why would you even stick in that ecosystem? And they thought that people were stupid, and people aren't stupid. So sometimes it just comes off. You just need to just be honest with your player base, be honest with your fans. Xbox is supposed to be here for the gamers. They're supposed to be, power your own dreams and stuff. But ultimately, it just seemed like they just wanted to lead us in the direction that they want us to go in. And all they had to do was just be honest and tell people what they wanted to do. You want people to be on Xbox Game Pass. Get rid of Xbox Live. Just get rid of it. Just tell people we're getting rid of Xbox Live, and free to play is going to be no more starting on this date. So you don't have to worry about that starting on this date. And
why do you think they won't just get rid of Xbox Live?
Because as of right now, that's a good question. There's no real good answer to that question. Because I do truly believe they're getting rid of it when Halo comes around, because I just can't see them charging people. Are you going to charge people 2 subscription models to play Halo? Because technically right now you need Game Pass and you need Xbox Live to play it. You need both of those if you want to play the multiplayer portion of it, at least. I think them coming out and saying what they said is just them basically saying, oh, here's an olive branch. We're basically going to let you know that you need to we want you to know that when this game comes out, you're going to be able to play games online and stuff, and you won't, you have to worry about a subscription service or anything like that. They wanted to use Halo as that double whammy, like here's Halo, and also free to play games are free to play online, and you'll be able to play Halo in that exact same way. But that didn't happen because the game got delayed. That's why I think this was going to happen way earlier in the year, but it didn't. But it's a lot of different ways you can kind of look at the situation. I just very, very much don't like the fact that they went in the direction they did by letting people know about it.
Yeah, just want to say real quick, what's up, WR Cup? He said, hey, Forte in slow mo. Wanted to also highlight what Lady Foxfire is saying here. She said they don't care about us; they think we're suckers just because a lot of us praise them for Game Pass and back them, Pat. And I really can't disagree with that. I mean, based off of what they did, which was clearly premeditated, clearly they knew that this was not going to be received well. You notice how, whenever they announce something, that all of the Xbox leadership that have a social media presence on Twitter are always liking and retweeting it. Sometimes leaving a comment with the retweet, promoting it, pushing it. They didn't say anything about this. They left it alone. It was quiet on the home front. It was silence until later in the day when they made the decision to revert everything back, and then with the announcement that free-to-play games will be truly free, and then they're doing their usual tweeting, hey, we messed up, thank you for holding us accountable, we apologize, we gotta do better,
right
now. They talking. They knew. Look, when your behavior changes, there's a reason. And the reason is that you didn't know how this was going to go. You knew it was going to be bad, but I don't think they knew it was going to be that bad. Now, we'll give them a smidgen of credit for being agile enough to make the change so fast, because most companies, I think, would not have made the change so fast. I think a majority of companies would have dug in their heels and stuck with it until the financials came back and they realized they took a hit. Then they would have reverted back. 2013 Microsoft would have told y'all to get over it.
Yeah.
And then they would have reverted back after they had already lost the generation.
True.
And then a lot of their competitors may have reverted things, but they probably would have waited. Nintendo ain't reverting anything. Period. If Nintendo make a decision, they know that their fan base is just going to accept it. Sorry if you're a Nintendo fan and that triggered you. I don't apologize. It's the truth, so get over it. But that's just the way it is with them. Sony may have made a decision like this, and then eventually would have been like, this ain't really going the way we want. Especially when you see Twitter accounts from actual games that you work with saying, "Yo, this is a bad move." When you're seeing people who normally are quote unquote influencers that you have a great relationship with, and they're telling you this is a terrible decision, I think you should reconsider. That really hit them in a different way, because they were expecting those people to be capping for them, and they weren't.
We weren't doing that,
and they were like, you know what? It's a unanimous from every corner of the internet. This is stupid, and we suck. Let's change that. So they did. Now, I 1000% believe that they did this simply because they wanted to push every new customer that gets an Xbox onto Game Pass. They look at their options. I can spend $120 and get a couple of games each month of questionable quality, get access to online games, whether they're free or not, or I can get Game Pass, get everything I just said, and then 200 plus games and all the first party games they make at launch. It's a no-brainer choice. The only reason why today people might choose Xbox Live over Game Pass is that they don't care about those games in Game Pass. All they care about is playing Madden, 2K, FIFA, Call of Duty, which aren't in Game Pass.
Right.
And they just want to have access to do it on the platform for half the price that it would be for signing up for Game Pass. And that's what they'll do. And those are the people that Microsoft wants in the ecosystem. So they could go in their Game Pass ecosystem. So they could go tell the publishers and developers they want to put their new games coming out in 2022 and 2023, whatever. Hey, we got 35, 40 people on Game Pass. Put your game in there at launch. All those microtransactions you're going to get, we'll pay you up front. We can negotiate whatever price you want up front on what you think you would have sold off of it up front. And then all the other stuff on the back end, hey, you're going to get those microtransactions. You're going to get the sale of those games in Game Pass, yada, yada, yada. The whole pitch, and that's what they wanted. They wanted to be able to see this so that the growth isn't just 3 million since last September. That it's like doubling. Because, hey, if I want to play those games, I need to get Game Pass. If I want to play Madden on an Xbox, I'm going to need to get Game Pass. It's like a no-brainer for them. And that's why they made that decision. I mean, not a no-brainer in the sense that it was a no-brainer for them to make that decision, but it's a no-brainer for the customer to just get Game Pass instead of Xbox Live Gold. And so that's why they did it. Horrible decision. And I think we both agree on that. Last topic I wanted to get to before we close up. I made a video about this, dropped it a little bit earlier before we went live. There's a rumor out that there's a new Knights of the Old Republic in development, and it's not being made by EA and BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and we already know now that EA does no longer has the Star Wars license exclusively anymore. So it's it's free reign for anyone that wants to make a Star Wars game. Make a pitch. You might be able to get what you want. And so the rumor is that because it's not EA or BioWare, my first thought then was it gotta be Obsidian then. Because Obsidian did Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yes, they did.
But it's been said by Jason Schreier, it's been said by Shinobi, another insider, that it's not a well-known developer, and quote unquote, you'll never guess who it is. So it's someone super, super unknown.
Really?
And so I did some thinking, and I think I know who it is.
Uh-oh, who is it?
I almost kind of don't want to say it because I want people to watch my video and see how I broke it down. But I'll say this: do you have any idea who you think it is?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, I'll break it down like this then. I'll just go ahead and talk about it.
I haven't really been paying attention to it. That's the biggest thing.
Okay, so to give you some context here, it's a developer that isn't well known. One, two, a developer that people wouldn't guess, probably because a lot of people may not even know they exist. Also, they have been the developer I'm thinking of is Archetype Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
So Archetype Entertainment is a developer that's they're about 30, as of right now, they're about 30 devs. 30 dev studio. They just got started. They just started last year, which coincidentally is right around the time that Ubisoft said they started negotiating with Lucasfilm Games and Disney for their Star Wars game. Mm-hmm. So we know for a fact that Disney was accepting offers and working with, and doling out that license to people, not EA, a year ago. Archetype Entertainment has probably about 70% of the staff are ex-BioWare developers. A good many of them did work on Knights of the Old Republic, the original game, as well as the lead writer, Drew Karpyshyn, is the lead writer for Knights of the Old Republic, the first one. He created the Revan character. He wrote the book Revan that depicted the events after Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Mm-hmm.
He is, if you're looking for someone that's not EA to do a Knights of the Old Republic game, who better would do a better story than the guy that started it all? So now we got some people in the chat that don't agree. So it's not Archetype. Maddie B thinks it's Asper based on the hiring. So I haven't looked into Asper, but let me go a little bit further on why I think it's Archetype. Archetype also has hired the talent acquisition person who also used to work for Lucasfilm as a recruiter. Their publisher, I forgot something of the Coast. Was it Wizards of the Coast? What is it called? Can't remember the name of the publisher, but the publisher also is owned by Hasbro, and Hasbro does products for Star Wars. So there's a relationship there. You have the lead writer, you have great talent, and they got started, and they are working on a game that is a sci-fi game. That's all they've said about it. It's a sci-fi game. Star Wars is sci-fi. And they got started, at the same time that we know Disney has been giving out the Star Wars IP to people, not EA. So that's why it's to me, it's a no-brainer. It's Archetype Entertainment. Now, it being Asper, I need to look into that. I need to watch Maddie B's content and figure out why you think it's Asper. But Victor says a lot of guys, BioWare guys are Asper. But do they got Drew Carpentier? They don't have Drew, Victor. They don't have the guy that created I'm not gonna say created the Star Wars universe, but created the mini-verse within the Star Wars universe of Knights of the Old Republic that takes place thousands of years in the past before all the movies. So that's my take. What do you think, man?
No, I think overall you're heading in the right direction. I didn't even think about that until you said the name of the studio and stuff. The biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is just the biggest thing. Let me ask you this: do you want this to be more of what we had before, or do you want this to be something completely like a completely different narrative, completely different era of what they did in the original game?
I'm not sure.
You want some type of continuation? Because Star Wars is huge. You can pretty much go anywhere you want to go in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want the same type of gameplay? Do you want the same type of style game?
No, I think we're now in 2021. I don't think you can do that style of RPG gameplay for the first two games anymore. I think it's too dated. So they're going to have to go a little bit more on the action side of things. Now, in my video, I did talk about, because I looked at some of the job listings that Archetype has out right now. Their next game, their first game is running on the Unreal Engine, based off of the kind of people that they're trying to hire for the game. They want people who have experience with Unreal, and they also want people who have experience with a certain type of motion capture technology. That I also put some clips of that, of some videos, some presentations of that in my video as well. So the game is definitely going to be like on the level of like a AAA level kind of game with nice visuals, because by the time this comes out, they're on Unreal Engine 5, which is going to be great for indie developers because they could be able to have really AAA looking, almost photorealistic visuals with half the staff and half the time it would take a last generation game to be made. And they're a smaller studio, they could get that done. But the motion capture kind of tells me in regards to what kind of characters they're going to have in their RPG, where you want realistic looking character models and moving and being animated in a realistic way. This is it kind of imparts to me that where that they're going with this game, and that it's going to be something really, really interesting to see. And
did you play the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the PC version, the MMO version?
I actually just started it. Now, when I made my video, I did the audio for it. I hadn't played it. I played that last night. Oh no. Earlier today, I played for the first time. From what I was told, the Old Republic, the base game is bad. And so far, I don't really like it all that much. But I heard all the additional expansions are great. And if you look at my video, I got all these cutscenes.
I love that game.
Yeah, all the cutscenes are from like the further expansions that look really interesting. So I think it might be something that I might actually stick it out for a while and get to the better expansions that are actually like higher quality at that point. I do know that the stuff that involves Revan from the Knights of the Old Republic game are in there, but they're like much further along with further expansions before you get to that. But regardless, I don't want this KOTOR to be really anything to do with the Old Republic. Same universe and all, but I don't really want it to be too like I I don't think they're gonna want people to have to play that game, an MMO that's only on one platform, in order to understand what's going on in this game. That would be a huge mistake.
What I want and what I think about it is the reason I asked you about the Knights of the Old Republic on PC. Remember that opening cinematic that they have in that game?
Mm-hmm.
With all the Jedi and Revan and everybody in there fighting with the lightsabers and stuff in the hangar bay.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best CGI I've ever seen in my life. I always wondered what a game that actually looked like that and had that type of production quality, because let's be for real, we could get a game like that now. That CGI was back in what, 2005 or something? 2003. Yeah, I always wanted to have something like that with the level of care that you could actually put into a Star Wars universe, with the level of character development that you can do. I just always thought that would be something great. And the one thing when I thought about them bringing back KOTOR, and either remaking it or just doing a completely different or refreshing it completely and going back even further, is just the untapped potential that they have. You know, the fact that Disney is allowing these different studios to actually, you know, do these different things. You know, they're having all of these studios write these stories. They're having their writers involved in the whole process of doing it, because all this stuff becomes lore inside the Star Wars universe once it becomes there. And it's really cool to see games actually affecting the lore of what Star Wars is. You know, Cal Kestis was not a part of Star Wars until, you know, Respawn created that character and made a great game out of it. So I'm really interested in seeing what they can actually do with this. It really just comes down to the perfect fit that is going to come for a studio. I know a lot of us was really hoping that maybe Obsidian can actually go back and revisit something like this, but you know, we know they're working on a bajillion different things when it comes to, you know, their obligations with Xbox, with making their games. And they're still, I mean, are they done with, as of right now, are they done with their private division stuff when it comes to Outer Worlds?
Yeah, Outer Worlds, that last expansion they did.
That last expansion was the last thing they had for them. Okay. Because I know
they always owned the Outer Worlds IP before being acquired by Xbox, by Microsoft. So and the fact that they own the IP means that Microsoft now owns the IP. They're, from what I heard, probably already getting started in the pre-production phase of working on Outer Worlds 2.
Right.
And that's just, so private division is completely out of it at this point.
Yeah. So
I think that they got Obsidian has too much on their plate right now to do
way too much.
Yeah, they got Grounded, they got Outer Worlds 2, they got Avowed. That's 3 games for a studio that's about 200 people.
Plus, I think Xbox doesn't want another, and this is something we didn't talk about in the last time that this came up, is Xbox just doesn't want their studios tied up in all these different deals where it's not benefiting them as just a platform holder, because something like Star Wars is going to be everywhere. I mean, I don't see Disney writing a check or even allowing the check to be written where it's only going to be shown on one platform. So I think that might be another reason why it didn't show up on Obsidian's doorstep, because, you know, trust me, Disney knows that they made that game before. It probably came at the recommendation of LucasArts and Lucasfilms to actually probably talk to them about it. And it could have been the fact that they could have turned it down just due to the volume that they have. Right. But I think this game only works if you have a developer that cares about Star Wars, because this isn't the type of game that you build if you just say, oh yeah, we're just working on a Star Wars game and we're just trying to build a world. No, you got to actually truly care about the IP, because that's how you get the best out of that IP, because it's a drama IP. People don't realize that's what Star Wars is. It's the drama, it's the opera of space, and that's what the stories are inside of. And that's why people love KOTOR as much as they did.
Yeah. KOTOR is one of my favorite games of all time. That's how much I enjoyed that game. But I've never been a big Star Wars fan, never. But I'm a big fan of Knights of the Old Republic. Huh?
You're a fraud.
I'm a what?
You're a fraud.
Look, I'm sorry. Star
Why
Wars.
don't you like, you heard, I said what I said.
Star Wars is overrated, bro.
Would you like Star Trek?
No, Star Trek sucks.
Okay. Well,
Star Wars is overrated.
Star Trek doesn't suck either.
Star Trek sucks. I'm sorry, it does.
Wow. So what? Okay,
Star
so are
Wars
you
is overrated.
do you like sci-fi?
Yes, I love sci-fi.
What do you like that sci-fi?
Dune.
I'm not talking. Oh, you like the Dune movie?
The Dune movie that came out in the 80s? No,
not the movie. The one with the Rock. The Rock in it.
The Rock's not in Dune.
He is in Doom.
No, he's not. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Doom, Doom. He is in Doom.
Dune, D-U-N-E.
Oh, okay. That's why. Okay, that's why I spelled it. Because I was about to yell at you, bro. I swear to God, he's all through the end of that freaking movie. Okay, Dune. Okay, Dune is okay. That's different. Okay, I got you. Okay, you survived the L that you was gonna take.
I'm picking no L.
You say you were gonna take. You was about to take one right there.
People in the chat getting mad because I'm telling the truth about Star Wars is overrated.
Yeah.
First off, Lucas stole some of his ideas from Frank Herbert, who wrote Dune, D-U-N-E. That was written, a book that came out and was published before Star Wars came out.
Okay,
that's one. All right, two. Oh my God, here we go. Why is Luke kissing his sister? Okay, what's going on here?
Know his sister at that point.
You're writing this though. He
wrote his sister.
The first movie with the intention of getting them together, and then I know right now they brother and sister. Don't tell me that he actually intended that to happen. He didn't. And Lucas is a terrible director.
That ain't got nothing to do with we all know Lucas.
He's such a bad director that the actor that such a bad director that the actor that played Obi-Wan didn't want to do it anymore.
What you talking about? The original Obi-Wan?
Yeah, not
Ewan McGregor, right?
Not Ewan McGregor. No, this
okay.
Well before, I don't even know if
I forget his name.
Was even alive.
I know you're talking about, yeah,
but there's that. I mean, it's just look the strength of the Star Wars trilogy is over. I'm not saying it's bad. It's overrated because Star Wars fans act like it's the Holy Grail. It's not. It's not that good. It's not that well written. Harrison Ford wanted nothing to do with going back to this stuff. He has wanted to get away from Star Wars for so long, but he's such a great actor, and he really nailed Han so well. That he helped make the series what it was.
Not saying that that's the mark of a great actor.
The Empire Strikes Back is the strongest movie in the entire trilogy. Return of the Jedi, boo-boo. Why are you doing 2 Death Stars? Why do both Death Stars have the same weakness?
It didn't have the same weakness.
Why are you Star Wars fans so gung-ho about one character that was in the movie for 15 minutes?
Oh my God. What about
you know who I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about.
What about Rogue One? Because I think Rogue One is probably top 3.
Rogue One was good. I like Rogue One.
Rogue One was fire.
Yeah, Rogue One was very good. But
it almost challenges, as much as I hate to say it, it almost challenges Empire Strikes Back. It's close.
Yo, people are mad at me.
Yeah, because you up here frauding.
I'm not frauding. I'm telling y'all the truth. I'm telling y'all, look, I'm just trying to help y'all understand.
We all know Star Wars ain't as good as it used to be. We know it's trash.
It was never good to begin with.
Oh my God, yeah.
Cali Rex, you sir lost the sub and earned a dislike for this episode. Wow, I really did. We really did get a dislike. I will cancel.
You got a dislike.
All right, Cali Rex.
Dizzy told me to stop. He must didn't like my Rogue One is probably better than Empire.
Empire
is my favorite.
The Last Jedi, the best in my book. See, I need to go cancel him because The Last Jedi is terrible.
It's what? The Last Jedi is what? Please choose your words wisely when you say that.
I said The Last Jedi is terrible.
Oh, I thought you said it was good. Oh,
No, I
Jesus
just heard
Christ.
the only thing good about the Last Jedi is some of the special effects, like that space battle, where like the one chick ran her ship through the fleet. That part was amazing. I never seen anything like that on cinema.
Oh, yeah, you're
Everything
talking
else,
about they finally did. They finally developed the fact that you can like jump through light space and go through a ship. Where was this in the first 7 movies?
I know. Look, it's just
Where
like
was this?
Last Jedi is terrible because it's just bad. It's bad. Racer. Okay, I might have to change my like to a dislike. I mean, you guys are Dizzy slow mo. You choose your words wisely. Oh man.
You
Look,
just started the wrong conversation here, though, bro.
I got Foxy on my side. Let him know.
Foxy just said that the movie they're good, but they're not as good anymore.
No, she said, and Dune is badass. Yes, it is. Dune.
No one said Dune wasn't good.
Freaking amazing. I'm telling you, when this movie comes out,
you one of those people that actually understood what the hell Lost had going on at the end of it, didn't you?
Man, no, people figured out Lost like in season 3, and they lied to us all the way to the end.
They sure did.
They sure did. George Lucas. I'm gonna say because he mad at me. I'm gonna say this the way he misspelled everything. George Lucas was a terrible writer, but he knew how to do a world. The world of Star Wars was expand in the prequelas. And we saw more elements. I think he meant expanded in the preludes.
He probably was. He had a lot of. He didn't have enough characters. That's okay.
Look. I'm sorry. It's the world is an interesting world. It's just that also he kind of stole some elements from Dune to make that world. So I can't really give him so much credit for that. Like having a huge like intergalactic kind of council and Congress kind of thing. That's stuff that was in Dune first. Dune was the first sci-fi novel or any sci-fi story to really do that stuff. I'm sorry,
there's more stuff going in the expanded universe than Dune could ever think of in Star Wars. There is.
Okay, look, I'm gonna stop because I probably have lost like
the game that we were just talking about.
Tyson, my subs. I probably have lost like
the expanded universe.
I may have lost like 3 or 4 subs doing this.
Subs today, because you out here on fire, bro, talking about this crazy stuff.
I need to stop. Stop.
Like it's 2 things that people. It's certain things that people like in this world, and Star Wars and Star Trek is one of them.
They need better taste.
Like
that was the last one. That was the last one.
Who is you? Sorry. Are you a real person?
Of course, I'm a real person.
You gotta pick a side, bro. You can't be a person that don't like either one of them.
I didn't say like I don't like Star Trek. I'm not saying I don't like Star Wars. I said it's overrated. Overrated. The definition of overrated doesn't mean something's bad. It's just that there's a level that it really is, and then the way people talk about or view it is higher than it really should be. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's overrated. People treat it like it was the great. Look back at those old movies. Like, man, it's a lot of cringe there. It's a lot of cringe.
It was in the 70s.
Hey, look, there's some stuff from the 70s I could watch, and it ain't no cringe. But anyway, look, but matter of fact, one of my favorite movies ever, John Carpenter's The Thing. Came out in the 70s.
That's fire. Right. That was a fire movie.
You can watch that movie right now and be like, this is amazing.
Look, man, there's only one.
Even though it's older than probably the majority of people in the chat.
There's only one monster movie.
Yes, there's the Alien and Alien. Aliens is one of my favorite movies ever.
That's my favorite movie.
Timeless. So
yep,
no,
sure
there is content, movies out there that, regardless of how old they are, they don't age.
I don't think you make it seem like Star Wars is walking around on a crutch.
Man, the crutch is broken.
Walking around on a crutch, bro.
The crutch is broken and they crawling. Okay.
Oh my god, man! It it still
I was gonna
carries
start.
very
I'm
well
sorry.
to this day. I'm with you on movies like Thing and like Aliens is my favorite franchise of all time. I mean, I think those the level of detail and animatronics that they had in those movies back then is phenomenal. You
Yeah.
can't even get better than that. Shout
Yeah.
out to them.
Yeah, I'm just
But
like, yeah, you're right. The thing wasn't the 80s. I think the thing may have been either 81 or 82. I gotta
it was
double
like
check that.
82.
Yeah,
It
but
came out like right around the same time as Aliens came out.
I might watch the thing tonight. That's how good that damn movie is. And by the
Yeah,
way, the game
all over the
that
floor,
came
popping
out
it up and
on the
stuff.
original Xbox, pretty damn good too.
Actually, like that was one of the few games that were video game made that were good.
Yo, like how you would like have your crew, and then like you would have to like give like a dude that's tripping, and he might flip out and just start like shooting everybody because he can't take the pressure and everything that's going on. You have to like give him a gun or try to find ways to kind of appease them, keep them calm, in order for you to be able. And then like every now and then somebody would disappear and come back, and then you be like, "Yo, are you?"
He circulates says Star Wars has only one good movie, just like Indiana Jones. Raiders of the Lost Ark is the only good one.
Hey.
Oh no,
hey.
man. Y'all killing me, man.
I mean, look, if I said it, people want to stone me, so I'm just going to stay over here. He said he telling the truth.
These are subscribers trying to protect you right now. I got you. Your subscribers are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
So man.
How about y'all hit that like button? Well, y'all already did it because it's 35 or 30. You know what? We're 34 out of 34 out of 35 people, and the one person is the 35 is the one that disliked the video.
Yo, it's Callie. Callie said he was going to dislike it. Next thing I know, there was a dislike. I'm like, all right. I mean, hey, look, I get it, Callie Rex. He
said, hey,
he loves Star Wars. Now, to get back to my original point, I think the mini universe that Drew Karpyshyn created with Knights of the Old Republic is so good. It's just so good. I think, and even the deeper lore that he created, and actually even coming up with a origin for the Sith and where they come from and how they keep coming back and what the Force really is and all that stuff. Like when he came out with all that, it contradicts some of the other storylines for Star Wars. It contradicts the whole dumbass midichlorian argument for the Force. I hate that. What freaking midichlorian? Who thought that? I'm sorry. Let me stop. Let me not go. I'm gonna leave it alone. It's a stupid idea, but I'm leaving it alone. But Drew's whole idea, and if you played the games, read the book Revan that he wrote. It's great. It's a great book, and it really explains a lot of his version of Star Wars, and it's so well written, which is better than everything else that's in Star Wars. Yes, it's been retconned, but that's just because Disney decided we didn't want to go that way. But since they're making it a KOTOR, I'm thinking that this new KOTOR that I believe is being made by Archetype, others believe is being made by Asper, whatever. But this new KOTOR is not going to be a KOTOR 3. It's going to be a remake. And they got to do a remake because they got to appease whatever Disney wants out of it and not have the elements of the original game that Disney didn't like and the reason why they retconned it. And so it's going to have to be a bit different. Hopefully we have all the same characters. Bastila, still have HK-47. He's awesome. Revan, Malik, the other Jedi there, the Jedi Council, the people in your crew, even the Exile, which is the main character for KOTOR 2, all of that stuff. I would like to see all of that back in. Just whatever issues that Disney had with the original story, just write it out. So I think we went a little bit longer than we normally did because of my
oh no, that's fine. I was looking
at truth bombs on Star Wars.
Well, first of all, we got to give the people what they want every once in a while. We can't just be, we can't be self-serving every once in a while. But Look, man. The thing I wanted to ask you is, what was your favorite movie growing up?
Favorite movie growing up. Oh man, it's gonna
Any
take me a
movie,
minute.
doesn't
All
matter.
right,
Genre,
you go first. I'm gonna need a moment for me to think about that because I feel like I changed a favorite movie all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to figure out exactly what was.
I can tell you mine right now.
There you go.
Spaceballs.
Spaceball. Oh, Spaceballs was so good.
So good.
Oh, Spaceballs.
So good.
The
And guess
power
what
of
it
the Schwartz.
was off of slow-mo?
Oh my god.
Guess what it was based off of slow-mo?
Star Wars. And you know what? Spaceballs is better than Star Wars.
Spaceballs was so good. Let the sports be with you.
Remember when he's playing with his action figures? I love it. Yo, I gotta watch Spaceballs again. I gotta watch Spaceballs.
Oh,
Spaceballs
such
is great.
Classic, man. Shout out to man. That was
no. My favorite scene is when they're combing the desert, and they're literally combing the desert with big, massive combs. And they go to the black guys. The black guys got a pick.
Got a pick.
And everyone else is like, "Hey, you found anything?" No, we haven't found anything, sir. You found anything? No, nothing yet, sir. They go to the black guys. Man, we ain't found
shit.
And
the guy was a black guy too.
Yeah. Okay, I got a tie for my favorite movies. As a kid, The Thing may be my favorite movie of all time. The Thing, but back then, I used to always watch horror movies. I shouldn't have as a kid, but I was babysitted by my cousins, and they was like, "Well, we ain't gonna not watch it, so you're forced to watch it." So I had to watch Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street at like 5-6 years old, Nightmares and all that stuff. So I remember watching Aliens, and I loved it. So Aliens was the second Alien movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
With all the best one-liners ever that people still say to this day. Game over, man. Game over.
Game over.
Right. So that's one of my tie for my favorite. The other one is Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh, okay, got you.
Men in Tights is so funny. It's not as funny as Spaceballs, but it's pretty damn hilarious.
Pretty close.
My favorite part, one, Dave Chappelle's in it, which makes it an instant classic. My favorite part is when Robin and Little John are fighting over the bridge, but it's not really it's supposed to be a bridge over a river, but it's a bridge over a creek. It's like you could just walk across the creek, and Little John, they fight, and then Little John falls in it, and he's like, I'm drowning. And it's literally like the water isn't even up to like his shoulder. I'm sorry. It was great. It was great.
Everything that's happening now is happening now. We're in now. Go back to then. We just passed it. Just now. We're in now. When will there be now? Soon.
Oh man. I
gotta watch that movie. Listen, I'm with you because Aliens is my favorite movie of all time. The reason I say Spaceballs was my favorite movie growing up is because Aliens is a very, very graphical movie that every kid shouldn't be watching when they're younger. So I really start watching Aliens until probably 90. It was about 5 or 6 years after it came out. But Spaceballs was the first.
I saw Aliens in 88. I saw Aliens in 1988.
Yeah, see, that's about the time I saw Aliens.
I was in 7 years old.
3 years after it came out.
I was 7 years old.
Oh yeah, dude. I was thinking Xenomorphs was gonna come in my room. I was scared at night. I was like, Mom, don't get. My mom used to turn the lights off and everything. I used to be scared in the mud.
Scared the crap out of me is when the Marines go into the den, the alien den.
The alien, they go into the
Scare the crap out of
Next
me.
to the reactors and stuff.
Right. And the other part when Sigourney Weaver, Ripley goes solo back in there to kill the queen with the flamethrower.
Yeah.
And it's like a good tense 10 minutes of not knowing if one of those aliens is going to pop out and jump at her or anything. And it's just like that thrumming sound of the music, which is perfect. Her flamethrower and her just slowly descending deeper and deeper towards that queen.
Yeah.
Right? It was great, man. Absolutely great.
Dak, I see Dak said the original Aliens was great. The second one was cringy.
What?
I listen, people. I never get mad at anybody for having that type of opinion.
How you say his name? You didn't watch that when it came out. I know people. My wife is like this.
Yeah, my wife's like
Aliens with her, and she was like, I've seen this kind of stuff before. But that's because so many movies copied the Aliens format.
Sure
and so
did.
you for a lot of people who are younger and didn't see it and didn't understand how revolutionary it was at its time. There were no movies like that at its time. Whenever there was no movies period in that vein, then that they just think, oh well, I mean, I've seen this before. It's the same thing with Die Hard, because my wife watched Die Hard after the fact and was like, yo, this is boring. And I almost lost. Die Hard is boring. Are you crazy? Die Hard is amazing. One of the best movies ever, in my opinion. And prior to Die Hard, all of the action heroes were Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were guys that were huge, muscle-bound dudes. Stallone with Rambo, he just stands in the middle of a clearing and just starts spraying AKs, not moving and nothing. None of the enemies ever hit him. All the bullets go around him. He got plot armor for days. Arnold Schwarzenegger punching dudes and their body explodes and stuff.
Yeah.
Superhero, but not really superhero men. Whereas Bruce Willis was straight up just a dude. Just a guy.
Right.
I mean, this guy was bleeding every cutting in his feet and everything for half the movie. And Rodimus. Bruce Willis was from Moonlighting, so he wasn't even known as an action star dude. People was like, Bruce Willis in the action movie?
Right.
Huh? But now you see Bruce Willis in the action movie, and you're like, it kind of makes sense because he does it well, and Die Hard's amazing. So, but people will look at Die Hard now, and they will see all these elements from other movies that copy Die Hard. Passenger 57, Wesley Snipes. You know, that's Die Hard on a plane. Steven Seagal, and I can't remember the name of his movie, but it was basically Die Hard on a train. It's just everyone copied it. It was great. So yeah, that's it, man. Let's get up out of here, man. By the way, great podcast, man. This is
always.
And also Bram Stoker's Dracula is very good too. I wanted to say something about that. And so is Back to the Future. Back to the Future. Okay, I got 3 favorites now. Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies. That's another movie that I say is timeless. That it regardless of what year it is, you watch Back to the Future and you could enjoy it. Even my wife enjoyed it, and she didn't see it. But when she was younger, and we watched it as adults, and she just loved it. Back to the Future is awesome. Anyway, great chat, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for rocking out with us for 2.5 hours.
I think this is like normal for us now.
Yeah, I think so.
The last 2, 3, 4 weeks have been 2.5 hours almost.
Mm-hmm.
We like hanging out with you guys. That's why.
Absolutely. Forte, where can the good people find you?
They can find me at my place of residence, which is called Gaming Forte at youtube.com. They can also find me on Twitter at Gaming Forte at twitter.com. They can also find me at Slow-Mo Backslaps channel every other Thursday for this podcast, which will be on my channel next week. So make sure you guys stop by and check out some of the Xbox stuff that we're gonna be talking about, plus some of the Destiny stuff that's going to be over there if you're into that. Outside of that, I'm gonna be playing the Median over the course of the next couple of days, and looking forward to see what that's going to be about on console, because I don't know if I'm going to play it on PC because my CPU might explode because I haven't upgraded it yet. But no, man, this is another great show by you, man. I love the energy you always bring to them, and I'm super privileged to be in your presence when we're here every Thursday. So thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet, man.
You're welcome.
That was great. You pretty all right too, man. And hey, look, check out the video I dropped earlier tonight, which we kind of discussed a part of the show, which is, who is making the next Knights of the Old Republic. Check out the video anyway, because I think I missed some things that I do talk about in the video tonight in the show. So hey, check that out. I got some more videos coming soon. Got some videos focusing in on Snowdrop engine. I'm about to say a different engine. Snowdrop engine, which is created by Massive Entertainment, who made The Division, and they're making the next Star Wars game. And I wanted to do like a feature on that so that people kind of understand why Disney and Lucasfilm Games want to use that engine for their Star Wars game, and how it works so differently from other game engines, and yada yada yada. And then just why I also think people shouldn't get too excited about a Division 3, or at least not a Division 3 anytime soon. And it's just some other stuff that I got working on. So you'll see all that within the next week. I hope you guys have a great night. I know it's getting late here. It's 11:37 Eastern time. So you guys have a great evening. Have a good night. Sleep well. Find some better movies to watch than Star Wars. Get some better taste.
Oh my God! Just
one last one in there.
Just remember, go to the moon tonight, guys. Go to the moon. Find your way to the moon.
And regardless, it's all jokes, guys. For the most part.
It's not. He's serious. He's a freaking fraud. He's serious. He's a fraud. I'm not a fraud. How's man gonna sit here and say, "Oh, I just Star Wars ain't that? It's overrated. It's not bad. It's just overrated." That just sounds like a sly comment.
Oh man, hey, look, yo, it's if it was better, then I would say so, but it's not.
Okay, let's see. We're gonna have a nice conversation when these new movies start coming out. Hopefully, they're good, so we can have a real conversation.
Yeah, I need some new blood, some new writers. Yeah. Peace out, guys.
Later, guys.